But let me turn to Ravin, because I know, again, as a CEO, as a business owner, what do you see as the impact to your business?
Well, we are one of the world's largest suppliers of nonstick coatings to the cookware and bakeware industry. It's about a $9 billion industry. What do these things that you cook on, what are they made out of? They're made out of steel. They're made out of aluminum. And, I started my company from scratch, 10 years ago, and we're looking at about tens of millions of dollars of sales that, I say are in jeopardy if this escalates, from a tariff into a trade war. So I'm very nervous. And I basically agree with every single thing that Stephen Moore just said. And I am just flummoxed because I'm all for the steelworkers. I think all of us are. My facts are that there's about 140,000 people who work in the steel industry in America. That's great. But I also understand that there's almost 6 million Americans who work in industries that produce things with steel as a component. So I'm just amazed that the president would just put this price increase on those 6 million Americans. So I'm very confused, and I don't want to get hysterical here. I saw Secretary Ross yesterday saying, oh, it's not going to be a big impact, it's not going to be a big impact. But what did we see this morning? The president woke up and tweeted at the entire EU, threatening to put a tariff on European cars like BMWs and VWs. I mean, that's insane. That is completely insane. This is exactly the kind of thing that all of us are nervous about, because this guy seems that sometimes he can get a little unhinged. It kind of reminded me of when he was campaigning and he had the Muslim ban, and he said, we're going to ban 1 billion Muslims. And then the whole world went crazy. And then, he backed it off, and it just kind of went away. But it really riled up his base. Maybe that's
Steve?
what he's trying to do. Yeah. But it's crazy. It's just a crazy tactic.
Do you think that this is some kind of political ploy, Steve, and yet it won't actually happen?
Possibly. Look, let me just defend Donald Trump for just 1 minute. I obviously disagree with the policy. But well, I was just going to make the point. Look, I travel with Donald Trump to Pennsylvania and Ohio and West Virginia and many of these states, and the truth is that a lot of the voters there supported this policy. Now, you and I believe in the benefits of free trade, and I think we're absolutely on the right side of the issue, but it's quite possible if Donald Trump had run as a kind of conventional free trade guy, he might not have won those blue states like Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia, and then Hillary Clinton would have been president. So Trump is
but
delivering
Steve,
on a promise here.
why isn't he listening to you? Why isn't he listening to people like you? You were an economic advisor of his.
Well, when I started working with them, I'll just tell you the story. I mean, when I started working with him, the first thing I told him, I said, Donald, I don't agree with you on trade. And he said, look, we can agree to disagree on that. I mostly worked on the tax bill. By the way, the tax bill is such a huge success with so many new jobs being created. We had a record low number of people applying for unemployment, 50-year low. We don't need this policy right now. The economy is doing fine without it.
I feel
go
like,
ahead, Robbie, and then I got to go.
I just feel like I fully am with the steelworkers, and I love the fact that Stephen's story about being out there in steel country and watching how Mr. Trump resonated with them. But what worries me so much is that Mr. Trump is so good at creating a bad guy and saying, hey, all of you disaffected people, here is who is to blame. And if history has taught us anything, this type of demagoguery is just so dangerous, because the irony is these people who get so riled up and so angry and become so xenophobic and point their fingers, they want to blame and lash out, and the irony is those are the people who end up getting hurt the most. And whether it was on healthcare or in this case on the price increase, it's like a Trojan horse with this steel thing. I think that Mr. Trump, the emperor has no clothes, and I just hope that people like Mr. Moore, who are very well intentioned, that advised him, I hope they kind of join the camp saying, look, Donald, you're a little unhinged here.
But wait a minute.
No,
a lot of people can support the idea of Buy American and Made in America. Right. Do you think that could have been what the president was trying to accomplish here, Ravin?
If that's what he's trying to accomplish, why is he doing something that benefits 140,000 people when we know by math it's going to hurt over 6 million people? So, and why is that ad that you just played, it seems like a bit of a causation thing. And like I said, I am all for the steelworkers. I would love it if every single industry in America could magically be prosperous. But I believe in one thing above almost everything besides democracy, and that is capitalism. Capitalism means the market sets the price. And what Mr. Trump is doing
compete, not retreat.
He is putting his thumb on the scales, okay? And I think that, yes, maybe he's trying to say Buy American in some subtle kabuki theater manner, but why does he just say it? Why does he come out with this policy which is manifestly being condemned on the left, on the right, and on the center? I mean, Larry Kudlow, who is as far as right as it gets this morning, lambasted him on CNBC. I think that he's alone on this.
All right, guys, got to go. Ravin Gandhi and Stephen Moore, thank you both.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Steve.
Have a good day.
Coming up, growing calls.